What up, Poppin' T fam? It's your host, Poppin' T. Sitting here as usual, Poppin' T. Got the extendo clip with me today. Big girl. Pop, how you feeling after that big dub, that 41-38 overtime win against the Bengals before we get into this?
I'm still on cloud nine. I can't with my quarterback, man. Eight,
Big Lamar.
eight.
Poppy was
That
at the
dude,
game for those who don't know.
yeah, I was
Um,
there. Experiencing that was like, I've been to some great games. I've also been to some horrible games, but that was up there.
it had to
I
be
think
electric.
I had Dolphins Ravens 2019 when we blew them out as my number one favorite game that I've been to. But just seeing those two quarterbacks go back and forth and then pulling it out in one, it's probably going to go down as one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year. Like
Yeah.
just seeing Lamar, like I've been saying this, Lamar is so hungry and he's impossible to stop right now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just Tyler Linderbaum firing the ball back too hard, and that's the only thing that's stopping him.
That's the only thing that can.
Yeah,
And even
it's.
then, still
I
Superman.
mean,
Before we deep dive into this episode, you have to give me the rundown on that play. Like he drops the snap. He fumbles back there for a couple of seconds. He rolls out right. He stiff arms Sam Hubbard twice. Jumps into the air, cross body near the sideline, throws into the back of the end zone to Isaiah Likely. Like what stadium reaction? Like how are you feeling? You see the ball on the ground. Like what is running through your head during this play?
so Ravens fans did not travel well to this game. I think that's just because Bengals fans are very active fans. Like, I don't think it's an easy thing to get tickets to this game. Like, it's not the best place to travel to, which it's not the first place you would think to travel to,
Yeah,
but it was an awesome city. Really enjoyed Cincinnati. But just watching that play unfold, we're all like collectively getting louder. The five Ravens fans in the row, like, because you see the stiff arm put Sam Hubbard on the ground, who has been honestly a menace to Lamar.
it's having a
Like he's
great
one of the
game.
few players that like can really has the athleticism, knows how to play his scrambles. Like he puts him into the turf and then is standing there and finds Isaiah Likely in between two defenders, one of which is Geno Stone. We go bonkers. And the rest of the stadium is dead silent. Dead silent. It was it was a thing of beauty. Like
Believe it.
there were so many times throughout the game where that stadium was just quiet. But at the same time, there were multiple times during that game where it was deafening how loud it was in there.
I can
And that's
imagine.
why it was such a great game. It was just back and forth over and
Yeah,
over again. These two powerhouses just slugging each other over and over again. It was beautiful.
AFC North football right there. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
So it's all
for
about.
sure.
Um. Well,
Should we
let's
get into the
let's.
tea?
I would say let's get into the tea. Let's get into the tea.
What? Why
Um.
don't you break down the tea this time?
I'll break
What's
down
the
the
what's
tea
the tea?
today. So the tea for today, Ravens fans, is that the Ravens have decided to bring on former defensive coordinator Dean Pease to kind of be an advisory role with Zachary Orr. He coached Orr at a point when Orr was playing for the Ravens just to be there and kind of help him out with play calling, personnel decision making. Um, and he just is a guy that knows the defense, knows the Ravens culture, knows the coaching staff, um, knows everybody in the building. And Zachary Orr kind of said himself that's like somebody who knows me. Like the only person that knows him better than himself is Dean Pease. He
Yep.
kind of said so. Like having that relationship in there, I'm excited for it. Poppy, what's your take on us bringing in Dean Pease?
I love it personally, like because Zach has been great. Obviously, you want to keep running Mike McDonald's system. I think he is super qualified to do that. There's been hiccups this season, and to go and grab someone as experienced as DNP's just to be in his ear, add that extra bit of experience because I mean, Zach Orr's so young. And if he can just have someone like Dean Pease in his ear, helping him out on the sideline, like it's just gonna make this unit better because it's in a tough spot right now. It can only
Yes.
get better.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen flashes of how good this defense can be this season, especially in the run game. The run game's fine. Like I think we're in the top five for
We're number one.
we're number one. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to flex with my guns too much. But obviously we're struggling through the air, and I think that bringing in Dean Pease just to add that little bit of extra experience is going to help a lot.
I agree. And it's crazy. Like, I don't think we really take into to account how young Zach Orr is. Like, Zach Orr could still be playing in the NFL right now if he wanted to, and like, he's our
Yeah.
defensive coordinator. Like, God forbid. Well, yeah, God forbid his injury, but like, he's only 32 years old, and like, he has the helm of our defense. Um, but you kind of touched on the secondary a little bit about the hiccups, and I'm surprised. I've been surprised all season. That we talked about the strength and the depth of this group coming into the season.
Hmm.
With Marlowe, B. Steve, Ardarius, Nate Wiggins, TJ Tampa, Sanusi, Bo Braid, Hamilton, Jackson, Williams. Like we named off all these guys. And to kind of see like how quarterbacks have been dialing that secondary is it's very baffling to me. I really don't know what's going on. Um, like I don't want to say it's a scheme thing because the front seven have been doing their job in my opinion. And I don't want to say it's a talent thing because the group is so talented. So like I've really been confused on like what is the secondary's problem so far to this point. And like you can see when they can do it, you just saw what we did to Josh Allen and the Bills. Um,
Yeah, I get it. I think that one, we've played some fantastic wide receivers. I mean, week one, Rashee Rice, those first 3 weeks was on a tear.
yeah,
Week two, Devontae Adams. Week three, CD was was active, especially in that fourth quarter, fourth quarter.
yeah,
We saw what we could do against a team with no true alphas in the Bills, shut them down completely. And then Jamar Chase and T. Higgins gave them work. It's just I think that this unit is struggling against the league's top talent. I think a lot of that has to do with just the way they're able to match up a struggling Brandon Stevens on some of these guys right now. And I like Brandon Stevens, but you have a first round pick, you have two first round picks at corner. I know Marlowe's a slot guy. I know he's a left corner, but at a certain point, it's like I'm tired of watching 21 run behind these guys, like chase after these guys all
out
game.
there playing
Because that's
tag.
what I was watching all
Yeah,
Sunday in that stadium. And then the one play when it mattered, Marlowe's clamped on Jamar, gets the game saving pick.
yeah,
Like Marlowe's wasn't very active throughout the game, but then he goes and makes his money. Like Marlowe's still a very good corner. He's been playing like a very good corner all season, but I just like to see the matchups get a little bit better
yeah.
because, and that's also an issue of some busted coverages too. We've seen quite a bit of those, but I think that one, bringing Dean Pease in here is going to solve a little bit of that. And two, like you said, Zach Orr's 32 years old, calling plays for the first time. It's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
gonna have to live with the lumps early. We're 3-2 right now. This defense is only gonna get better, in my opinion.
Like so far, even though we're 3-2, like that's the only
Can I?
glaring issue to me right now.
Yeah, that doesn't really concern me because, like I just said, three first round picks dumped into that. If you include Kyle, um, I think that this group is just gonna get better, and I think a lot of that has to do with just new coaching.
Yeah,
And Mike McDonald took his lumps early too. Like we want to talk about how good Mike McDonald is, how much we miss Mike McDonald, which we do. Trust me, we do. But I'll remind you, 2 years ago, Miami Dolphins come to Baltimore, and what happened? But Tyreek go for 200 yards
Yeah.
and Jalen Waddle went for 150. Like he took his lumps early and then had the league's best defense the next year. So I'm not super concerned. Got a lot of season left to play.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ball left. Let's keep it on the defensive side of things. We talked about the secondary, but let's talk about the front four. Um, he had 3 sacks last Sunday. One of them came from the secondary from Kyle Hamilton. Um, one came from Matt one came from Robinson. What have you seen
B-Rob.
from this front four so far? And especially, I want to highlight, or I want you to highlight the versatility we've seen from this group. It's not just one guy getting it done. There's been a lot of factors. A lot of guys getting back there, getting home. What would you credit that to this point in the season?
I would say that going into the season, there was a slight bit of concern. Like, all right, Mike is clearly one of the best play callers in the league on the defensive side of the ball. How much of their production last season came from him and the way he was able to scheme them up? And I think this year you're really seeing just how talented these guys are. Like Matabike is so explosive as a pass rusher. Travis Jones has such violent hands inside. Like that dude has turned it
Yes,
on this
yes,
season. He's
yes.
exploding through the line on both rundowns and pass downs. Kyle Van Noy, just his speed moves and his finesse this season has been on full display. It seems like he's even better than last season. And then Dafe is coming into his own as well. I think that there's just bodies on bodies in this group. The Ravens have always done such a spectacular job of drafting and developing the defensive line. And this is just, we're just seeing the benefits of it now. We're so deep. And Yannick Ngakoue coming back this week. And I think PFF had him as the seventh best edge rusher this week after being complete garbage in Chicago. Complete garbage. I think last season, I don't remember quite how many it was, but it was over 100 qualifying pass rushers. And I think that Yannick was in the bottom 10 players in like pass rush win rate last season.
Yeah.
And he's coming back and making plays. And that's just what Ravens defensive linemen do. So, I mean, Matabike, I touched on this with Marlowe. Sorry to be rambling right now, but I touched on this with Marlowe. You have three defensive players paid up right now. Marlon Humphrey, Matabike, Roquan. For Marlowe to get that clutch pick, and then in that I think it was the Bengals' last drive before half, for Matabike to explode through that line and get that sack. Like, dude,
And then Roquan led the
like
team in
pay them.
tackles
Yeah,
with
like
14 on Sunday.
the, we're clearly making the right decisions with contracts. Like, it's just good to see those guys, those leaders making plays against that firing Bengals offense.
Yeah. Like you were saying, man, I really think it is a testament to how good these guys are.
Talent.
Kyle Van Noy with 6 sacks, Owe with 3.5, Matabike 1.5, Robinson 1, Ojabo 1, Kyle Hamilton 1, and then Trent Simpson, Michael Pierce both have a half a sack. And I love how we still are invested in the simulated pressures. Um, it makes the job for the quarterback and for the offensive line so difficult. Um, especially like you get your pass pro protection. Say there's 7 on the line of scrimmage. There's only 5 of y'all. So like end of the day, like you can pick 5 up, but 2 are going to come free. And the way they do it is so masterful. It's like you don't know who's bluffing. So it's like, okay, you decide to slide to the left and take the leftmost five guys, and then you end up going that way. The DN and the linebacker on that left side drops, and the linebacker and the DN from the other side come. So it's very confusing, and it's been that all year for the Ravens. And a big example I remember from this weekend, not from the Ravens game, but from the Vikings and the Jets. Van Ginkel with his pick six, with the
Mhm.
simulated pressure. Brian Flores has been doing great with that over there in Minnesota. And you see the results in Van Ginkel's pick six, like what that simulated pressure can do to a
Yeah.
quarterback. Um, and for us, it's really just allowed those pass rushing lanes. It's really opened them up. We have 18 sacks and oh my bad, 16 sacks in 5 games. So it's
It's
like they're getting
beautiful.
home, they're creating pressure. And the defensive line, man, that front four, they have been balling. Um, Stay with the big boys, but to flip it to the other side, let's talk about that O line. Once again, Pop. Obviously, it isn't always pretty, but Lamar was pretty clean this weekend.
Mhm.
Lamar had time to do what he wanted back there. He only took 1 sack for 3 yards. Obviously, he fought off a couple other pressures, got out of some sacks. But the fact that he was able to drop back 42 times and only got sacked once, um, what does that say about the resiliency of this O line group, especially after getting to a rough start? A lot of critics, a lot of people calling for benching the players. What have you seen from this O line group so far?
I mean, it's a young group. It's the same thing with the defensive coaching. Like they just got to gel. They got to figure it out. And I really think that Rosengarten is a stud. Like
I agree. I agree.
I didn't really think that it was a smart idea to play him early. I was all on board with Makari getting the start at the beginning of the season because Makari's just been such a solid sixth man on the offensive line. But I mean, this unit, this starting five, Ronnie, Makari, Linderbaum, Falele, and Rosengarten, like they're playing great. I'm interested to see if they even put Voorhees back in when he's healthy. Um, and shout out Ronnie, man. Like the amount of slander he's gotten. I was talking to my dad about it today. Like that dude is close to where he was in 19. Like
Yeah.
he's always been such a technician, and you saw how much that those injuries hampered him. And now that he's back to 100%, like he's locked down. He's locked down. And he's making key blocks throughout the game in the run game. Like, shout out Ronnie, another player where it's like the Ravens know who to pay. Like, even if it didn't work out early because of some unlucky injury stuff, like he's still a fantastic left tackle.
Yeah. His pass block grade for 2024 is at 88.7,
No
which is
way.
second in the league among all tackles.
No
Um,
way.
his run block grade is only a 74.3, which is 20th out of all tackles. And overall, he's at 15 overall grade out of 112 tackles. But
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
pass pro wise, man,
Lockdown.
it's been lockdown. It's been lockdown. I love seeing it. Like you said, just seeing him get back to that form because there was just so many years and like yo, we were tired of Stanley. If we're going to be honest,
I wanted him out the door.
we were tired of Stanley. He just was never on the field, and when he wasn't looking good. Didn't look explosive. But they highlighted it all camp how he was just feeling like himself again. He was feeling conditioned. He was feeling healthy. And he was feeling comfortable in his body. So it's so relieving
Yeah.
to just finally see him come out there and be the leader of this group. Linderbaum playing at an all pro level as always. And it's just like when you have that left tackle and you have that center, like
Yeah.
those are the two most important positions. So when you have those
Especially
two
now.
locks, it's just it doesn't really matter. Not to say it doesn't matter what else you put out there around it, but those two
Mhm.
pieces are secure. Your O line has a pretty damn good chance of being good.
And then you're also seeing if you can see Rosengarten shore up that left side, like it almost starts to not matter who the guards are, as long as you're getting like average play. to slightly below average play from those guards. If you have your edge rushers contained and your center can chip to whatever side's dealing with the better pass rusher in the interior, like I'm not concerned. Like,
Yeah.
and we faced good defensive lines. Like we struggled against Max, we struggled against Chris Jones, but then like we go and we play a decent defensive line in Buffalo, which like okay, that's fine. They played well. I forgot the week before we kind of shut down Micah, but we ran the ball the whole game, so it was like, all right, can't give this group too much credit. Then we did the same thing against Buffalo. It's like, okay, still can't give this group too much credit. They handled business, but Lamar only threw or 18 times. But then for them to come out and double down on the previous 2 weeks and shut down a decent defensive line for the Bengals. I know they were banged up, but they still had Trey Hendrickson. Like,
Albert Henderson, BJ
yeah,
Hill.
Miles Murphy came back this game.
Yeah. Um,
Solid unit.
yeah, like I said earlier, for Lamar to jump back 42 times, only allowed one sack. Kudos to those guys.
Yeah.
Keeping it on the offensive side, Zay Flowers, 7 receptions, 11 yards, 120 yards, all purpose. What did you see from Ford this weekend?
He's just an elite separator, man. Like, you know that when Lamar drops back, if it's not play action to the tight ends, you know where he's looking. It's
Yeah,
four. But you also got to shout out seven, man. It
that was
seems
gonna
like
put in next.
they got something like the connection is starting to like,
Starting to finally come around.
and those two are both excellent separators. Like they're just giving Lamar open throws, and as long as he's hitting them, like they're picking up big chunk plays. I was thinking like a lot of the time at the beginning of these drives, it was a handoff to Henry or a check down. And a lot of these drives, we were in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8. And it was just, he was just hitting first down after first down after first down because these guys are separating downfield, which is,
Yeah,
when do we ever see our wide receivers separate?
we don't.
Never.
We don't.
Yeah. So what did you think of for this week?
I loved it. I love seeing Ford get involved in the passing game with things that aren't just jet sweeps,
Mm-hmm.
bubble screens, tunnel screens. Get him down the field. Let him get in a full stride. I understand what he can do at the line of scrimmage, and he can cut on the dime, and he can do those things. But Zay's a playmaker in so many more ways than that, man. Just allow him to get downfield and get full stride and get on the DB's toes, open up his hips. Because he's very good at those things. And so is Bateman. Bateman is very good at opening defenders' hips up, making them turn and look away from the ball, look away from the quarterback's eyes because they can get on their feet so quickly. And it shows the confidence Lamar has in his young wide receivers. He has in Zay and he has in Bateman, has in Kolar, has in Likely, has in Wallace. Um, he trusts
Yeah,
these
talk to me
young
about those
guys.
tight ends
That
this week.
three-headed demon.
All
I love
three of
it.
them.
Like everybody got to catch. What's it called? Likely had 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Kolar had 3 receptions, 64 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews had 4 for 55. Like I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Mhm.
It shows that we can create explosive plays with guys that aren't Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, or Derrick Henry. Our tight ends can create explosive plays.
Yeah.
Kolar took that one for 55 yards. That's your third string tight end.
I'll have you know that play where Kolar took it up the seam, we ran 4 verts out of 12. That play.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw
That's
Patrick Carter
crazy.
ran a little wheel route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. It's exciting to see to know that notice this offense can beat you in so many ways.
It's
Um,
versatile.
Lamar connected with 9 different wide receivers on Sunday. That's spreading the ball right there. That's
Yeah.
that's not being locked in on one guy, getting through your reads, um, and being precise. There were obviously a couple throws that he missed, um, but overall, even though like this was a game that we almost lost, like with Lamar fumbling that snap in overtime, we really almost gave the Bengals an opportunity to win. I don't understand why they didn't pass the ball
Yeah.
on
Especially after
any
how
down.
hot Joe
Yeah,
Burrow had been all game.
like I didn't really understand that, but shout out to Zach Taylor. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Because you gave us one. You gave us the opportunity. And Derrick Henry came to be that finisher that we paid him to be.
Hmm.
They kind of shut him down all game. I think he had like 14 carries for like 30 something yards, maybe 40 something yards, and he broke that last one and put us in the field goal range.
Hmm.
So it was really honestly, it was just a lot of complimentary football today. Well, not today, but Sunday. Um, Offense coming, defense coming, offense, but it was really the offense complimenting the offense. Um, every drive in the second half, going down there and putting points on the board, staying in this dogfight, not allowing the Bengals to sneak up on you at 1-3 and come in their house and they punch you in the mouth, as the AFC North game, because we all know how those types of games can be. So just to see this offense stay aggressive, to watch Lamar be precise all game, and just to watch guys around Lamar Jackson, the guys that aren't eight, make those big plays was just very exciting and very, very inspiring to me for the rest of the season, how the season can go, with just how everybody played on Sunday.
And it really all revolves around eight, man. Like he goes, what, 26 for 42, 355 yards, four touchdowns, and another 55 on the ground. Like that's an MVP performance. That dude is so dialed in right now. So dialed in.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any like I'm not afraid at all of like Lamar even thinking about screwing up. Like
No.
I don't know how you can stop this offense when Lamar is back there. And it's crazy that after all this, like people still don't want to give him the respect that he
It's
deserves.
it's it's mind-boggling to me. It's
It's
mind-boggling.
insane. I
It's
was listening to
mind-boggling.
my favorite NFL podcast. Shout out Fully Inflated Football Podcast. That is one of the best podcasts on the internet. He talks about the Ravens Bengals game first. And he talks about this is a MVP performance for Lamar. Next game he talks about Bills Texans. And he's like, CJ super dialed in this game, playing great football. Texas wouldn't be where they are without him. Only issue is he had the strip sack and the pick in the fourth quarter. But pretty soon we're gonna start considering him the second best quarterback in the NFL above Joe Burrow and Josh Allen.
Like, what? Like, what are we
Well,
talking about, dude?
you just got finished talking about how Lamar is on this MVP path, and you don't even mention him in the same breath of like
I don't
the dude he
understand
just
it.
beat, the two dudes he just beat.
I don't
It's
understand it.
crazy. It's
Like,
crazy.
it's because it's so funny to me, like revisionist history, all of this. I'm going to go on a little rant here. I'm very passionate about Lamar Jackson. So just to just see Lamar Jackson be a two-time MVP winner. Josh Allen has no accolades. Joe Burrow has no accolades, and they're still constantly ranked above him. Okay, Joe Burrow played in the Super Bowl. He didn't win the Super Bowl, and that was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Josh Allen has never sniffed a Super Bowl. So like I don't understand how these guys keep getting put above Lamar. Josh Allen just threw 9 for 30 last week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be swept under the rug. If
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson threw 9 for 30 in the game, Jesus Christ, it would be bad. It
It would be talked about all week.
the Ravens had like 7 drop catches against the Steelers last year, and I think it was like a week 4 game.
Uh-huh.
The headline that came out after the game was, "Are the Ravens getting their money worth out of Lamar Jackson? Are the Bills getting their money worth out of Josh Allen?" I don't see that headline anywhere. I don't see anybody asking that question. The guy just completed less than 33% of his passes. He would have been better off spiking the ball into the ground every play of the game. But we just not gonna trip on it.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is 1-4 right now. I wish Lamar Jackson would be 1-4 right now. They were ready to crucify him when it was possible that he could go 0-3.
Yeah.
When it was possible that he could lose to the Cowboys. Now he's the best. I mean, we're the best team in football, and everybody is happy this and that. But like 3 weeks ago, we were ready to call it quits on Lamar. But like
Yeah.
Josh Allen just had one of the worst performances in NFL history, and it's just he doesn't have any help. Lamar Jackson's playing with Willie Snead, Miles Boykin, and
Seth
Michael
Roberts.
Crabtree, Seth Roberts, like, and won an
Des
MVP.
Bryant.
Yeah, Des Bryant, Big X, like, and we're
Sammy
giving
Watkins.
Josh Allen a pass for Mac Hollins, Keon Coleman, and
Khalif Shakir.
yeah, like, well, I'm not giving him a pass. I know damn well
No.
I'm not giving him a pass. Like, and Joe Burrow still has Jamar Chase and T Higgins. You're 1-4. What's your excuse, buddy?
Yeah.
I
It's not the
just
offensive line anymore.
it blows my mind how the finish line is moved for these different quarterbacks. Like Patrick Mahomes is the leader for the MVP vote right now. Patrick Mahomes has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Like I understand they're
And
undefeated, but if that's the case, it should be Sam Darnold should be leading the MVP race.
Yeah.
Like it's things like that. Like I really don't understand. Lamar Jackson is, I believe, top 10, top 12 in passing yards. He's top 10 in rushing yards. He has 9 passing touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. That is the MVP favorite right now, in my opinion. I understand he's 3-2, but he was in a dogfight with Patrick Mahomes. He gave Josh Allen the beat down and just beat Joe Burrow in overtime. Your 2024, 2025 NFL MVP will be Lamar Jackson.
I'll put money on that.
And we're saying that here on Pop and T Podcast. So we'll come back to this in the season after we win the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And we will be talking about Lamar Jackson as one of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. This time come February.
Mm-hmm.
3 MVPs, 3 first-team All-Pros, and a Super Bowl ring, and probably a Super Bowl MVP. There's not too many. He's about to lead the league. He's about to lead the NFL in rushing yards as a quarterback in a career by the end of the season. I believe he's only 100 yards away from second from Cam Newton, and he's only 500 yards away from Michael Vick. Lamar Jackson's in what, year 7?
Yeah.
Like nobody's touching that record. It's not going to get touched. So I went on a little Lamar Jackson rant.
Thank you.
Shout out 8, love him to death. I was talking to one of my housemates the other day. Like, people don't understand what Lamar Jackson has done for this city. Like, it's unbelievable. Me and you were talking about this too. Like how many people in Baltimore and the DMV area that he just has not even nationally has watching the Ravens now. The amount of primetime games we play, the amount of times we're on ESPN, First Take, Fox, whatever. The Ravens were never talked about this with Flacco. Like obviously we were in conversation, we were always competitive, but like the amount of media spotlight we get now because of 8 is just it's insane to me.
It's off the charts.
It's a hell of a football
player. It's been that way
man.
since he got here.
Yeah.
Before we were talking about a couple of years ago, like if Lamar doesn't get this contract, the city's gonna burn to the ground.
Yeah, it would have. Because imagine if Lamar Jackson was in like Atlanta playing the way he is right now. Oh my God. And we were sitting with Snoop Huntley as our quarterback after watching the 2 performances he put on against the Titans and the Patriots.
That was a reality.
That was almost a reality. There were people who wanted Snoop Huntley over Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
That said, don't pay
lived
Lamar.
in Dundalk, but
like, hey, the Dundalk people not gonna like that one. They're not gonna like that.
To our Dundalk listeners.
Yeah, but Lamar Jackson, man, ninth in passing yardage, 4th in touchdowns, tied for second to last in interceptions. It was only 1. He should have 0. If Bateman doesn't let Spillane punch that ball out, whatever happened against the Raiders, Lamar would have 0 interceptions. And Bateman dropped a touchdown too. Like Bateman, it's always Bateman. Love him to death. I'm sorry, Bateman. We're playing great, but God, it's always Bateman. Um, but yeah, man, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson. I could say that name all day. Um, I love watching that kid play. I don't think there's anything that brings me more joy than
I
watching
say
Lamar
it all the
Jackson on
time,
Sunday.
like, I'm so happy that my quarterback is good.
Yeah,
There's so many teams that just like get week to week, just like, all
mediocrity.
right, is Kirk Cousins going to be good this week, or is he going to throw for 500?
Like
Or is Dak
imagine,
going to do another stinker, or is Dak going to be good Dak this week?
imagine waking up and be like, yeah, son, I can't wait to watch Andy Dalton this morning. Or yeah, son, let's go down and to the bar or whatever, and let's go watch Derek Carr.
Maybe Daniel Jones will be good this week.
Like you're preying on luck. I don't have to prey on
Yeah,
luck. I know eight's going to show up. The question is everybody else going to show up.
yeah.
And speaking about showing up, this Sunday heavyweight matchup, and it's crazy to say that when talking about the Commanders. The Commanders are 4-1, looking hot. Jaden Daniels is looking like the offensive player of the year. You know what we do to rookie quarterbacks here in Baltimore. So, Poppy, before we get off of this thing, man, what are your thoughts going into Sunday's game?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling very similar to how you're feeling or how you were feeling against the Bills. I really think we're gonna expose them. I know what we do to rookie quarterbacks.
Yes.
I know that their defense is horrible. They haven't faced very good offenses, and when they have faced very good offenses, the defenses for those teams have been bad. Their wins don't look very good right now. It's Giants, who they won in a field goal fest with. Um, the Cardinals, who have an XFL squad on defense. Um, who else did they beat? Cleveland, who on paper should be good, but no one's playing with any sort of heart right now because of the
They got Massage
Deshaun
Watson.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Bengals, who, what have they given up 50 every single week? Like, I don't know. They don't really scare me. We're gonna see. Maybe it's legit, but this is gonna be their test to me.
Yeah. They got to come
Um,
into the bank.
One more thing I wanted to say about how I'm feeling about this game. Obviously, I'm feeling like it could get away from the Commanders quick. The only thing that gives me pause is that they are very strong up the middle of their defense. They have two very good defensive tackles in Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. They have a very good linebacking unit in Jamin Davis, Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, and even Jeremy Chin is playing pretty good ball right now. He's kind of like a safety linebacker hybrid. So, those runs up the gut might be a little bit harder to come by this week, but honestly, King Henry's been playing a lot better on those toss plays to the outside, those wide zone runs. So I expect them to lean even more into his strength this week and kind of forego some of those inside zone plays. And I think we should be fine, honestly.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the game?
I feel like you. I feel pretty confident. A lot of people in this DMV area making this up to be like game of the year, but like for us Ravens fans, just feel like another game. No offense to the Commanders, but like y'all, little bro. Um, so like I'm not really tripping on it. The only thing I am kind of worried about, you just highlighted on it that interior of that defensive line. Um, the Commanders' defensive line generated 7 sacks last week on Deshaun Watson. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is not Lamar Jackson. He's not as mobile in the pocket.
It's
But
also
when you
horrible.
that as well. But like when you think of Cleveland, you think of their O line. I don't know what it looks like right now. Obviously, I'm not a Browns fan, but like my general understanding is that like the Browns normally have a pretty good O line. Um, so to see them put up 7 sacks last week is kind of like that might be a problem. Um, but with their secondary core, I'm not worried about the passing game. Like it should be bombs away, honestly. Um, and like you said, King Henry, he's an outside zone, toss, counter, power type of running back anyway. He isn't a in the A gaps type of guy. Get
Yeah.
him in full stride. Let him get up to top speed and let him hit the
And
line of scrimmage at full speed.
they have a 160-pound corner in Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah,
It's
like
gonna be taking stiff arms this week.
mhm. Gonna be eating a lot of grass. Sitting there, at the on every play, trying to clean it out of his face mask. It's gonna be
So
bad
what's
for
your score
Forbes.
prediction?
Um, let's see. Let's see. I'm going to go
Hmm.
35-17 Baltimore. No, my bad. I lied. 35-20 Baltimore.
I was about to say that. That's my score prediction. 35-20.
35-20.
Yeah.
I guess we're on the same wavelength this week. I
Yeah.
don't want to change it so that one of us can be right. Let's just hammer it down in this 35-20
Yeah.
and get our dub. Um, I
Little
would say, is
parlay
there any?
prop.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. You got any legs for him? Um, this week I'm feeling Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And I'm gonna go Zay Flowers 5. Zay Flowers 4+ receptions for my two legs.
Um, I like Mark to stay hot. His line was at 25 last week. I could see it being a little bit more now that he's finally showed up, but I
Yeah.
still like the over on that. Um, and I like Lamar on the over for passing yards as well.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's probably going to sit at like 230, probably.
So we got Lamar Jackson over passing yards, whatever the line ends up being. Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Mark Andrews, do we want the 25+ receiving yards or over whatever his line is?
Whatever his line is.
All right, so Mark Andrews over whatever his line is, and then Zay Flowers 4+ receptions. And just to throw another leg on it, make it 5. Let's go Derrick Henry anytime touchdown because to me that's just free money.
Easy money. Yep.
Like the Ravens are going to get on the goal line, and 22 is going to get the ball.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
Pop and
see.
T family, thanks for sticking through with us. This was really fun for us, especially with the Ravens winning ball games now.
I would say it's fun to talk
We're
football when
trying to
you
be
win it.
more consistent with it. It's tough lining up our schedules right now, but
Yeah,
stick with us. We're going to be keep bringing you content more and more frequently, and we're enjoying doing it. So it's
loving
not
it.
going to stop anytime soon.
Not at all. Go
All
Ravens.
right, go
F the
Ravens.
Commanders.
Yeah,
Then let's go get this dub Sunday. I wish I could be at the bank so bad. It's my bye week, but like we're off Saturday, not Sunday. If we were off
yeah,
Sunday, man, I would be in the city because I know DC is finally good. So I know they're going to
yeah,
travel for this game. This game is going to be packed out. Um, and it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. I'm so excited to watch it on Sunday.
definitely.
That's all from me. Pop, you good?
Yep.
All right, Pop, you fan, we are out of here. This
Peace.
episode will be up soon. I don't know. I'm telling y'all this is going to be at the end of the episode when y'all listen to it. So it doesn't really make sense. Now I don't think
Shut
about
it
it,
down.
but let's just shut it down. Let's shut it
All
down.
right.